Mark your calendar. It all happens May 5th. 8 finalists battle it out to be this year's Business Launch Champion. Office space, legal and accounting services, marketing and PR support, investor exposure, coaching and development. Oh, and did I mention $50,000 in cash, a competition to launch Georgia's business promising new technology companies. It's TAG Venture Atlanta Business Launch 2014 in partnership with the Metro Atlanta Chamber. Greetings, everyone. It's Tuesday, April 15, 2014, and this is Tech Talk with Technology Association of Georgia President Tino Mandela. I'm your guest host, Frank Baia. 8 selected finalists are working right now with their mentors and will be right up to the big day when they will pitch head-to-head to take home the cash prize and an extraordinary suite of services. Over the next few weeks, Tech Talk will focus special attention on each of the 8 business launch finalists. In this edition, we meet Adam Houtman, CEO and founder of Vault. Vault provides efficient, reliable collection and storage of client-specific biological material for use in personalized regenerative medicine for the preservation and improvement of health and well-being. Will Vault be this year's Business Launch Champion? Up to this edition of Tech Talk, focus on the 2014 Business Launch finalists. We explore Vault and meet with its founder and CEO, Adam Houtman. This edition of Tech Talk is brought to you by GlobalSpeak.com, new media consultants, corporate video and audio communications, video and audio production and distribution, live and virtual event production. Tag TV and Tag Radio is a service of GlobalSpeak.com, creatively delivering powerful marketing, video, and audio solutions. Adam, welcome to Tech Talk.
Good afternoon, Frank. How are you?
Well, I'm pretty excited. I have a fascination, if not a curiosity, about what you guys are into. I think it's pretty special, but I think it's important for our listening audience to note you are one of only 8 finalists in a competition called the Business Launch Competition that TAG and Venture Atlanta are putting on this year. $50,000 prize among a lot of other service provider benefit packages that I think are pretty lucrative as well. But more important than any of that, although it's hard for me to say more important than $50,000, is the fact that there were over 100 competitors. And over a process of judging and going through a number of different steps, hoops we say, you came down to be one of the top 8, and that's pretty special. So congratulations, you're a winner by just being here. So hats off.
Thank you very much. Yeah, we're very excited to have got so far through the competition, and very excited to get to present to the rest of the audience in the upcoming couple of weeks. Really?
Well, and I understand, too, you're in the process of still crafting them and mentoring and going through the process to refine the presentation. I think one of the things that most of our listening audience is reasonably savvy to big data and the evolution of analytics and then predictive analytics and of course, the hybriding of health IT and some of the things that are happening in the electronic space and clouds with healthcare. I get the sense that you're kind of capitalizing on all of that movement with a little bit of a sprinkle of vision over the top of it and created something called the Vault. Right or wrong? And tell me a little bit about it and how did you create the Vault?
Well, you absolutely nail on the head. What we're trying to do, or our mission is to incorporate the best of all the different industries have to offer to ultimately be able to provide the general public, our clients, our patients, an opportunity just really for the ultimate in healthcare. What I mean by that is the Vault is all about collecting our adult stem cells, of which many people are unsure what that really means. They're these tiny little factories inside of our bodies that repair and regenerate us every minute of every day. When a cell breaks down, when it dies or when it becomes damaged, our body repairs it by creating another cell. Those cells have already been proven in clinical trials, as well as many treatments around the world right now for them, to be a potential treatment and maybe even a cure for some of the most debilitating and terminal diseases that mankind's ever faced. So we're really fortunate to be on the leading edge of being able to provide a service, taking advantage of all the hundreds of millions of dollars and incredible research organizations that are putting all their weight behind finding these treatments and helping people get access to them. I'd like to hopefully that most of our listeners kind of feel like I do, and that is like, what?
what are you talking about? I mean, I think I get it. I remember one time having an opportunity to interview one of the inductees to the Technology Hall of Fame. He was a global professor, a laboratory bioscientist out of Emory, and he said, I asked him what he did, and he said he identified molecules and patented molecules. And I thought, can you do that? So my question is, can you do that with a stem cell, Adam? How does that work? Tell me, I'm not clear. First off, maybe go a little deeper as to what a stem cell is, and then how does that whole ecosystem happen? How do you identify the information, get the information? I mean, that sounds pretty complicated.
Well, actually, our business model is super, super simple. There are over 4,000 human trials today. Every one of those human trials requires one resource. They require that you have your adult stem cells in order to be able to get that treatment.
Oh, okay.
So I'll give you a little story about our genesis. How did I come into this and why? That might answer a few of the questions that you posed. A few years ago, my auntie died of cancer, and when I was sat with her oncologist after she passed away, we were talking about what are possible treatments, what are possible cures. And really what she pointed out was that had my auntie been able to collect her stem cells before the onset of disease, they would have been disease-free. And that not only would she potentially still be alive today, but she may well have been cured. And for me, that switched us on to this notion that if we can collect this resource before we get sick, before we get the diseases, and we can store it for the future use, we are our own best medicine. We have an opportunity to utilize this material as and when we need it in the future. And just to give you an indication of some of the ailments that we're talking about, it's everything from as basic as what we call arthritis, which is very, very painful, through cancers and tumors and cardiovascular disease, type 1, type 2 diabetes, liver disease, kidney disease, spinal cord injuries, stroke, even the ability to repair, maybe even regenerate organs. So what Volt does is we give patient access to that material that may be so essential for their healthcare in the future that it's priceless. And we do it very simply. When you go in for a wisdom tooth or any healthy tooth extraction from your dentist or your oral surgeon, we provide them a collection kit. So rather than throwing that tooth away, which typically is treated as hazardous medical waste, they take it instead and they put it in our collection kit. They activate the kit, our thermal engine, by basically pressing a button, and then sticking a FedEx envelope on top, and they're done. The kit's then shipped directly to our lab, and then in the lab they go through and they process it and basically just get it into a situation where it can be stored at minus 190 degrees almost indefinitely until some future point where you might want to use it.
I'm still sitting here dazzled. I mean, I'm thinking, I think we're talking about the future in some kind of scientific, experimental type of situation, and yet you're hitting it. It's almost like the proverbial safety pin. It sounds so simple. You almost kind of want to say, why aren't we doing? How come we haven't been doing this before? And I know what the answer is. It took Adam to think about it. But one of the things.
Play than me, that's for sure.
Well, talk a little bit about that though, because I got to assume that there's a cultural conflict. And when I talk culture here, I don't mean ethnic cultures, but I mean the industry culture, the whole health industry. Or do you feel comfortable that they're embracing this? Have you had trials, and what's been sort of the acceptance to the idea?
Oh, it's been tremendous. We've got just some of the largest oral surgery groups in the country have immediately jumped in behind us. When you think about, as we're getting older, we start to unfortunately experience more people that we love getting sick. And, for me it was really an absolute level of outrage when I found out that my auntie would still be alive today if we'd known this. And we've known this information. This information's been available since the mid-'80s. This isn't new. The only thing that's new about it is that we're finally starting to catch up. We're finally starting to hear some of the positive aspects. We've seen videos in the news recently of a gentleman who'd lost the end of his finger from the top knuckle, and using stem cells, they'd regrown the entire rest of the finger, including the nail and the tip, the bone, all of it. It's there, it's here, it's now. It's only science fiction because we don't hear about it.
Well, and it's like anything else. What you don't know, you fear until you learn more about it and get an understanding the way that you're describing it. Because, again, it sounds so logical and so obvious. I mean, what you're saying is that with your own stem cells being used, you can actually treat and maybe potentially cure other diseases. And why wouldn't you want to do that if you could?
Exactly. So what we did was, our next mission was, how do we make this affordable? Let's make it simple. Let's make it affordable. It's $39 a month.
So that's from the beginning of the actual identification of the stem cell from the extraction, and then the maintenance of that over an extended period of time for whatever length of time you continue to contribute to the resource.
Well, actually, it gets even better than that. Really, it's $39 a month to finance the initial procedure. So once you get beyond the first 4 years, that price drops down to $12 a month. It's only $150 to keep this material for as long as you want to per year. And as soon as you don't want it anymore, maybe technology starts to supersede biology and we're all blessed with nanites running through our systems. When that stage happens, then you can always cancel it.
Now, correct me, I know that I'm going to oppose that in this particular arena there are no stupid questions, because this is so uniquely specific, and obviously you have a subject matter expertise that I'm sure a lot of our listening audiences are impressed with, but would be equally as curious, and that is, when you collect it for the first time, it's not like DNA. It doesn't give you any information that's predictive. It has to be something that is later diagnosed, like, for example, that if you take the extraction and identify the stem cells, it's not going to tell you anything until someone that you care has cancer and they've got the stem cell information and can relate to it?
Well, really, it's a little simpler than that. The stem cells themselves have your full DNA. They're your building block.
Okay.
When we were born, we were designed perfectly, but unfortunately we don't live in a perfect universe, and environmental factors and things will take their toll. And that leads to some of the abnormalities that we face as we first start our journey as human beings. Then over time, those factories, they're pristine factories. For the most part, they're producing absolutely perfect cells. Unfortunately, again, we have genetics, things that get passed down that are hereditary. In fact, a lot of disease is actually hereditary. So you know what's coming if you take the time to think about your grandparents and your great-grandparents or even your parents and see what ailments are they suffering from.
Mm-hmm.
It's a likely indicator you know what's coming for you. And for me, it was the slap in the face of, as a new parent, what have I got coming for my kids? And when I looked at my family's history, that was not something I would ever want to share, let alone share with somebody that I absolutely love and adore. So I could sit back and let the rest of the world keep plowing forward and hope someone else came up with an opportunity to save my children and my great-grandchildren eventually, or jump in there and do it ourselves. So we jumped in, both feet, and decided this was really the direction. And fortunately for me, I've had several successes as an entrepreneur in the medical sales and service industry. So without having to be a medical professional, what I found was an opportunity that was a complex opportunity in terms of the science behind it. But I have absolute faith that we have some of the best researchers in the world here in the United States. In fact, we're ranked #1. The only thing that we lack here is the adoption that the rest of the world has already taken on board. And unfortunately, because of the way that the FDA have regulated stem cells, putting them under the Drug Act, we're in a phase 1 through 3 clinical trial situation where the rest of the world is just accelerating away in terms of providing treatment. Last year, 21,000 people spent $500 million going overseas to get treatments to save their own lives, literally. So there's opportunities. The Bahamas deregulated. They are focused very much on providing stem cell health care to the American population, being only 60, 70 miles off the coast of Florida. Japan just rolled $2 billion into their economy, believing that stem cell treatment will supersede their reliance on the automotive industry very shortly, expecting net back something like $320 billion by 2050. It's like knowing that the internet's about to happen.
Really?
And being able to jump in there 4 or 5 years before the actual button's pressed and everyone becomes mainstream understanding of what we really have available to us.
Well, it's, and everybody talks about speed, so I'm not sure 4 or 5 years. One of the things as you were talking, I think the fellow I was talking about in the Technology Hall of Fame, his name was Raymond Shinazi. And Raymond actually found or has the formulation for what they call the cocktail that they provide to AIDS patients.
Mm-hmm.
And it's calculated that with his discovery, he's saved over 5 million lives. And so, I mean, the idea of what you're talking about from a business standpoint sounds phenomenal. From a business launch standpoint, sounds like it's going to be hard-pressed for me not to kind of lobby for, hey, it sounds to me like I'm talking to the winner. But even with all that said, God bless you for what you're doing, because the result of it is going to be the impact on a lot of people's lives and a lot of loving people that care about the people that they care for. So you're about doing something pretty phenomenal, yet something really, really, really worth doing. Well, how does I guess it'd be remiss not, because I think you're almost saying that it's kind of like you can start doing some things now. How does someone contact you?
Thank you for asking. The easiest way to contact us is call one of our service representatives. We like to present ourselves as an opportunity for anybody and everyone to use us. We've got people talking to us that have never banked with us but are looking for treatments and cures. We're not just with you for the collection, but we're with you for life. So anybody wanting to talk to us, they can get us at 404-994-4588. That's 404-994-4588. We've got a wonderful website, has lots of information on it. That's Vault, V-A-U-L-T, stem cell, STEMCELL.com, so Vault Stem Cell. You can find us at Facebook at Vault Stem Cell. Follow us on Twitter as we present the latest in what's going on and findings around the world, helping patients find cures and treatments. And you're welcome to email us at the info, I-N-F-O, at vaultstemcell.com.
Well, I can tell you that you're going to have one more follower after we get over this interview, because I want to pay attention to not only what you're doing now, but I want to see as things progress, because it sounds like nothing but exciting things and exciting opportunities and much success. Adam, thank you so much for taking that. Well, first off, again, congratulations on making the finals, but congratulations on the vision to do something like this and to what you're doing. And thank you for taking time from a pretty exciting period in your existence to spend a few minutes with us today on Tech Talk.
Well, thank you very much, Frank. We really appreciate the opportunity to reach out and to touch people, and you provided that to us, so I'm very grateful. Thank you.